So the following are the efforts to promote inclusive language and address biases involve several key strategies. So the first one is gender inclusive language. Avoiding gender specific terms when unnecessary and adopting gender neutral alternatives to ensure inclusivity. Inclusive language embraces all instances that have to do with respectful and accessible communication between people. It is an anti-racist, non-discriminatory towards people with disabilities and the spectrum of gender identities with which people identify. Gender inclusive language is a branch of inclusive communication. Using gender inclusive language means embracing gender neutral and gender positive expressions that deconstruct patriarchal attitudes and beliefs. So, example, use gender neutral words like humankind instead of mankind, partner instead of wife or husband, firefighter instead of fireman. So, those who advocate the use of gender inclusive language believe that this helps to value and respect people in the LGBTQ community, their lives and choices, not privilege some people to the detriment of others. So the second one is pronoun respect. So acknowledging and using individuals' preferred pronouns to affirm their gender identity and promote respect. For example, a person may openly transgender or trans at work, but not at home with their family. Some people use different names and different pronouns depending on the context. It can be helpful to clarify in what situations someone uses certain pronouns. Remember, it is up to each person on how and when they choose to share part of their identity with others rather. Try to avoid using the phrases preferred pronouns or preferred name as they as this suggests an element of flexibility or that someone's identity is less than valid. Someone's name and pronouns are not suggestions and are not preferred over something else. They are inherent to who we are. So let's proceed to the third one, which is cultural sensitivity. Being mindful of diverse cultural background, avoiding stereotypes, and using language that is respectful and inclusive. So cultural sensitivity is having an understanding of another person's set of beliefs or values that is attributed to the person's ethnic or racial background. In addition, an individual must be agreeable to modify their behavior to accommodate the other person's cultural belief. It's important because it improves the health and wellness of minorities. Cultural sensitivity is important in fostering a cohesive and peaceful society. Example of cultural sensitivity include asking a person how they would like to be addressed, respecting cultural health practices, and promoting multilingual signage. So a person's culture defines the food that they eat, their beliefs regarding healthcare, and how the persons interact with the world around them. The meaning of cultural sensitivity is to understand that one culture or way of living is not superior to another. So, number four is the accessibility. Ensuring that language is accessible to a wide audience, considering different abilities, education levels, and linguistic backgrounds. So, accessible language class is communication that includes everyone. Take note, includes everyone. So, for example, people with visual impairments, lower reading levels, distractions of or different language needs. Writing content is accessible helps remove barriers so the users, regardless of abilities or circumstance, can get the information they need. Use simple familiar words, language, and everyday words. So now, proceed sa ikalima, which is the representation. So it is promoting diverse representation in language by avoiding language that reinforces stereotypes and actively seeking inclusive terms. So this refers to the assumptions made about the characteristics of different genders. They can frequently lead to an unfair bias towards a particular gender. They are also used to compare the way people should behave based on their genders. Because of this, certain genders may face discriminations or inequality due to how they are perceived by others. So, example for gender stereotypes, men don't talk about their feelings. So, another example is men are stronger than women. Men are smarter than women. So, those are the examples. So, now let's proceed to the sixth, which is education and awareness. Raising awareness about the impact of language choices, providing education on inclusive language, and encouraging open dialogue about biases. So, for example, some way maybe provide students with a sense of belonging or offer an open and welcoming environment, promote active listening, encourage participation, or the teacher may ask the student what their pronouns are and follow up by using the correct ones identified by the students. So, class showing respect to one another is a key element of interactive classroom. So, educators may need to set ground rules and remind students before they proceed with a lesson. So, let's proceed to the last one, which is policy changes. It implementing policies within organizations or communities that promote inclusive language use and discourage discriminatory expressions. So, class using inclusive language and having workplace conversation devoid of exclusive language. It means employees are more likely to feel like they belong and can be their authentic selves at work. So, language has the ability to build relationships and forge connections, but it's equally liable for creating value barriers and impacting someone's sense of belonging. So, class, that could be all about the efforts to promote inclusive language.